Yeah, hi everyone, good evening. Yeah, hi, good evening. Please mark your attendance quickly. Yeah, who all are from batch 1.0? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay, and 2.0? Yeah, 1.0, 2.0 both present. Okay, please confirm I'm audible, everything is fine. Audio, video, all fine. No issues. Yeah. Senior of 2.0. What is that, man? You all are preparing for same year. Nobody senior or junior here. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, let's start. So we were discussing various schools of Buddhism, right? Yeah, okay, so let's continue with our discussion. Okay. So we were discussing that Buddhism has two major schools. Uh, One is the original or the initial school, which was earlier called Sthirvadin. From here, it evolved into Theravada, and then Hinayana, right? And the other one is your Mahayana, earlier called Mahasanghikas. Yeah. Okay. Again. So last we were discussing that Hinayana says that Buddha was human, right? And he's a guru, and they are interested in teaching. But in Mahayana, Buddha is God, right? Here, if you want to get nirvana, it has to be personal pursuit, right? But here it was by grace of celestial Buddha, right? Similarly, language used over here was mainly Pali, local language. But here they had resorted to Sanskrit, right? Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Also, we have a concept of bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas. Right, bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas were those who were delaying their nirvana, so that they can help the others find nirvana. Right. So these two schools we have discussed. Mahayana, we were also talking about Madhyamaka, additional school. It's part of Mahayana, Madhyamaka, and Yogacara. Sub schools. Right. Okay. So let's continue. The third school. The school we see. Uh, Technically, this region, these countries like Thailand, your Myanmar, Thailand, etc. They have Hina, and China has your Mahayana. But then there's a third school which is Vajrayana. So let's start from here. Let's start the discussion from here. Yeah, are you all aligned at this point? Yeah. Okay. So let's continue from here. Hinayana has no concern with Vishnu. No, I said no. Okay. So yeah, so there's one more subschool Tathagat Garb. We come to Vajrayana, but there's one more subschool Tathagat Garb. Right? Now Tathagat Garb, what does it mean? It means that in your Garb, inside you, right? Inside you there is Buddha. Inside everyone. So this school believes that inside everyone there is potential Buddha. Right? It means that if you also strive hard, if you also try to seek truth, you also can become something like Buddha, or you can get nirvana. Right? So it is all about personal pursuit. Buddha decided that he will go for such this truth seeking. He will find the truth. He will get nirvana. So he got that nirvana. All those potential, all those qualities we all have. Right? The only matter, obviously, the only thing which is required is to realize that potential. Right? So this belief system, which believes that every one of us has Buddha inside us, or at least we all have potential to become Buddha. So Tathagat Garb. So we all have Tathagat. Tathagat means Buddha. Right? Tathagat was used to call Buddha. Right? Tathagat Garb. So there is Tathagat in all of us. So this concept is basically your Tathagat Garb. Yeah. So Vajrayana. So this is basically a school, right? There are people who follow this Tathagat Garb as well. Yeah. The Vajrayana, third important school. Now, so how this is all happening? Again on the timeline, we realize that roughly from 500 BC, what we are expecting that Buddhism will start to rise. Right, from 500 BC, Buddhism will start to rise. Or you can say that because Buddha is here, so yeah, there will be a jump, but yeah, something like this. Buddhism will keep on spreading till 250 BC. Ashoka comes into picture. Ashoka. Right now, Ashoka will give a spike in his era. Why? Because he starts spreading Buddhism. One of the strongest king, one of the most powerful king, with the largest kingdom till that point, right? One of the biggest kingdom we ever had. King of this terrain, of this empire, basically adopts Buddhism, or basically subscribes to Buddhism, and then he starts spreading Buddhism. Right? He's sending missions. Right? He's sending missions to other countries, and now we see that around 250 BC we basically get a boost because of Ashoka. Now, additionally, this boost, so basically this boost has been given to what? This boost has been given to technically Theravada Buddhism, which is actually Hinayana Buddhism. Are you getting the point? Right? This boost is basically for Hinayana, because he was not supporting Mahayana Buddhism. Right, at that point of time, he was not supporting Mahayana Buddhism. It was basically Hinayana Buddhism which is getting a boost. So we can expect a spike. See, this graph is hypothetical. There is no such real graph. But if we assume that we can plot the growth of, you can say, Buddhism, we can think like this. That gradually, gradually the Sangh was growing, gradually the Sangh was approaching kings and all, and somehow Ashoka got connected to it. And Ashoka changed the whole scenario. Ashoka changed the, you can say, the whole impact, or basically the whole spread of Buddhism. Right, now Buddhism is not only in India, but also outside India. Right, he is sending campaigns and all. Also, from here, from 250 BC, we also understand that from here, this Buddhism will have amazing impact, basically a very, very strong impact on our architecture. Of course, philosophy also, of course, literature and all, literature as well. We will be having a lot of literature, Buddhist literature here, no doubt about that. But if we talk about architecture, then from Ashoka, there is start of cave architecture. Cave architecture. Right, cave architecture. Now, cave architecture, Ashoka's cave were not given. Ashoka made caves, but they were not donated to Buddhism. He had donated to Ajivika. So, Barabar caves and all, Barabar caves. Again, we'll come to Barabar caves when we are talking about Ashoka. It's just that I want to plot this. I want to let you know how this is happening. So that is the reason we are using some, the knowledge of the, future lessons. Right? Okay. So Barabar caves. So he made caves, but these caves were given to Ajivika, not Buddhism. Now, idea is that from this point, from Ashoka, we must understand that Ashoka had popularized in architecture. He has popularized pillars. He has popularized stupa. So we were discussing that Ashoka made some 84,000 stupa. Right? Now this is a new culture. Right? Also, he made caves. Though these caves are not for Buddhism, but still now this is a new fashion. Right, we see that caves will start to grow, and especially we will see that in the next zone, this area will have lot of caves, lots of caves, right, like Ajanta, right, Kanheri, etc., Bhaja, Karali, etc. So now there will be proliferation of caves. There will be lots of caves being hewn, especially in the Western Ghats or close to Maharashtra or in the Maharashtra. Right, now these caves can be or mostly are Buddhist or Jain. Right, now these caves, now there are basically two types of caves. One are caves, suppose there is a rock and you cut this rock. So that you can go inside and sleep, nothing else. Right? Such cave where you just go and sleep will be called as viharas. Similarly, there are another types of caves where you cut the cave and then inside you make a stupa. This cave is known for worship, where you can work on your chetana, called as chaityas. So the point is, from here, there will be a lot of impact of Buddhism on the architecture. Right? We'll have cave architecture, we'll have stupas also. Right? So gradually, he also made a lot of pillars. But though pillars are not directly connected to Buddhism, it is about his dhamma policy. So we'll talk about pillars later. But at least stupa and caves, these two architecture or mainly caves proliferated from here. Right, now these caves. So caves will be made, from here caves will be made, but these caves will not be having the statue of Buddha. Right, these caves initially there will be no statue. Or where should I be writing? There will be no statue of Buddha, no statue. If you have to represent Buddha, you can use some symbol, but you will not make Buddha. You will not make a sculpture or statue of Buddha. Now the next talk which we have is this will go something like this, because immediately after Mauryan Empire there is a dip. People are against Buddhism. Right, so you can expect an organic decline. Right, because the kings are not supporting Buddhism anymore. Or basically it's normal, or you can say organic decay, right? Gradually. So gradually it is decaying, not doing great. Till we had Kanishka in the picture. Right? Kanishka comes to the picture. And Kanishka again, a new rise comes because of fourth council. Where again, Kanishka is again a very, very strong king. This whole empire is Kanishka, even outside India, Central Asia. Right? And that is the reason Buddhism will get a new boost. But again, this is which kind of Buddhism? This is Mahayana Buddhism. He is supporting Mahayana Buddhism. Right, and from here you will find that there is a change in architecture. Till this point, we were talking about stupas, we were talking about Buddha as symbol. But going forward, because now Mahayana Buddhism talks about celestial Buddha, so we will find that Buddha, instead of symbol, we will have images of Buddha, and most importantly, we have bodhisattvas. So even in the paintings, right, and in the Ajanta paintings and all, we'll find Padmapani, we'll find other bodhisattvas. We'll talk about bodhisattvas. Don't worry, I'll show you a few bodhisattvas, and there are multiple bodhisattvas. Right, there are so many bodhisattvas. It's like in Hinduism there are so many Devi Devta. Similarly, there are so many bodhisattvas in Buddhism. Right, same concept. So now we see sculptures. Right, things have changed now. Earlier it was all symbol. Earlier it was mainly symbolic. This means Buddha. But now Buddha will be made directly. Buddha statue will be made. Plus most importantly, bodhisattvas. You'll find a lot of bodhisattvas. Now we'll observe this change during the course while we study Mauryan Empire or the Mercantile era. So there we'll observe the change. But right now we need to establish that something like this has happened. Now again after Mahayana Buddhism, we can say that there is organic decay or stagnancy. But from 3rd century BC, things will change and Brahmanism will start rising, which is somewhere affecting the growth of Buddhism. You can say it is stagnant, you can say that it is gradually declining, but it is not getting state support. So from Gupta Empire, we can expect some decline or stagnancy. Right now there is no more support. Basically there is no royal support to Buddhism. The final support which we have, is around 8th century, and it is by a very small kingdom, Palas. Palas are in Bengal, and this is technically here comes your third school, Vajrayana, where you can say that there is momentary spike, not like before, a momentary spike and then decline. Because Pala is not that big empire, it is not comparable to Ashoka or Kanishka, so we can expect that the spike will be accordingly only. It will not be a huge spike. But a minor spike comes, at the point of Vajrayana, supported by Palas around 8th century. So this is some, say again, this is hypothetical, only for your understanding. I will also recommend not to make this graph in your examination, because UPSC teacher has not seen this graph before, right? So this is only for your understanding how this has grown, right? And we expect two spikes, right? And Vajrayana is the final, you can say the final spark because of the support of the Palas, right? So this is only for our internal understanding. Do not draw this anywhere. This is only for your, for you can say for your consuming the topic well. That's the only idea. Again, right now you don't know, maybe you don't know Ashok, you don't know Kanishka, you don't know Palas, that's perfectly fine. But during the course, we need to observe the trend. Right? During the course, this philosophy is important because the culture part, from examination point of view, culture is important. Right? So in your culture, philosophy and the impact of philosophy on the architecture. Right? This is the game changer. They had already asked this question by the way, impact of philosophy on the architecture. But anyway, they will keep on asking this because that's the basic thread. Right? That's the most important element which we miss, which we usually miss by studying art and culture. And it is not in isolation. You don't have to study anything in isolation, even architecture or art. Right? But we do study like that. But if you understand the overlying or basically underlying philosophy behind the things, you'll be able to understand why is there change, why is there a shift from Buddhist cave to Brahmanical caves, right? Now in Gupta Empire you will not see Buddhist cave, right? You find Brahmanical caves, you will find Varha Avatar panel, you will find Mahishasura. Things will change. Before this, in the cave architecture, you will find Jai Padmapani in the paintings and all. You'll find Manjushri, right? So there you find Bodhisattvas in the caves, but abruptly around Gupta period, you will find the new caves are about Hinduism. Also, gradually the caves will be gone. Now this is the era of temples. Right now, it is not era of caves now. It is converted to the era of temples. So we understand this part, at the right time, but at least have the macro gist of what we want to discuss. Right. So we have already seen Heenyana and Mahayana. Let's talk about Vajrayana. What is Vajrayana? Yeah, Vajrayana. So what happened during Gupta period, or basically during this era? The process was always there, but the process increased around this era. There was so much of tribal assimilation. Right, there was tribal assimilation in the society. A lot of tribes were getting assimilated to the mainstream society. Right, because of the agricultural expansion. Right, again, we'll see that agricultural expansion when we are here. But anyway, for the time being, we must understand because of this tribal assimilation, what is happening? That now your society is expanding. Let's say this is your settlement. Suppose this is your settlement. Right, now what's happening? Now because the population is increasing, or you want to have more agriculture, now you want to cut this forest. Right, and you want to bring this forest inside the settlement. Now when you do so, right, when you expand into this, there will be tribal people living over here. What about those tribes? These tribes have to be assimilated, into your mainstream, right? When you do this assimilation, you accept the tribes in the society. You mostly tell them that they are mostly Shudras, right? In this tribal assimilation, mostly Shudras. The tribal head will be called as Kshatriya because he's the head. So to accommodate him, in general, he'll be called as Kshatriya, and the remaining tribe will be assimilated as the Shudras. Now, when this tribe comes into your main society, this tribe, along with other things, this tribe also brings their religion or their religious beliefs. Right? Now, coming from a forest, these religious beliefs usually have tantra. They believe in tantra. Right? They believe in Shakti, the female divine power. Right? Very powerful, the divine power. For example, the impact of this is today we worship Kali Ma, right, in Hinduism. Right, Kali Mata, right, that's a divine power, right, magical power, magical in the sense she is very, very powerful, and also sometimes, mostly they're very, very fierce, right. So yeah, so Kali Ma is basically, I'm not saying anything like, yeah, sorry. Again, disclaimer is on, guys. I'm not saying Kali Ma is, part of tribal assimilation. I'm saying that tantrics, tantrism believes a lot in Kali Ma. That's what I'm saying. Right, okay, so yeah, so tantra. So now tantra and Shakti is becoming the part of the society. So with this tribal assimilation, this new element, became part of the tribal society. Now when tantra came in, tantra will impact Hinduism, and even in Hinduism as well, we will have such deities who are close to tantric belief. Right, and not only Hinduism, but also Buddhism. Right, because of this tribal assimilation, a new element, a new thought process of tantra. Now tantra is about magic. Right, tantra is about charms. Tantra is about spells. Tantra is also about magic, or there will be, you can say, powerful divine mantras. Right? Even Tantra is about, some powerful pictures, or I should write yantra. Right? So there are powerful pictures, and if you see that picture, you'll get some power. Or you can keep that picture in your house, and it will have some magical impact, very powerful impact. Yeah. So this idea, this Tantra, concept will impact both. This will impact Hinduism, and this will also impact Buddhism. Right. Okay. So Vajrayana is technically you'll find Vajrayana is basically vehicle of the thunderbolt. Right. It's a very, you can say, this is a later development, right? And this is because of the, you can say, Tantra, the idea of Tantra coming in. And now you know why. Right, because we were expanding, the society was expanding, there was too much of tribal assimilation, and the tribal assimilation will bring new religious beliefs, will bring a new thought process into the system, and we have Tantra now. So this is also called as diamond vehicle, Mantrayana, Tantrayana, Tantric, esoteric Buddhism, all these things. Right, and final period of Buddhism, this is like the final, you can say, decline or the end of Buddhism. Yeah, appeared in Eastern India. See, we're talking about Bengal. Right, so Eastern India in around 8th century. And from here, now again, coming back. So what will happen? We'll got time. Yeah, okay. So this Pala, let's talk about this. So the Pala dynasty, they have Vikramshila University. And even they will be sending few missions. They'll send a mission to Tibet. And today in Tibet we have Vajrayana Buddhism. So though Buddhism has, you can say, has declined in India, it's not there much in India, but it is still there in other countries. It has survived in other countries. Coming back, so yeah, it is in Tibet. Now important part in in this Buddhism is, in this school of Buddhism is that they believe that nirvana is possible, or basically the upliftment is possible by the magical mantra. Simple. That's why they're doing mantra, right? So you can get upliftment. You can, now this is now very quick way, right? It's very magical. You want shortcut, right? You want like, if somebody can do some magic and give you nirvana, nothing like it. So this is that path, right? It is magical. It is like very fast, very quick, and you can easily get salvation. So salvation can be best attained by acquiring magical power. This magical power is called as Vajra, right? Power, right? So Vajra. So Vajra, by Vajra you can get salvation, right? Now they will also believe in what? They will also believe in Bodhisattvas. So technically, again, I'm writing this for our internal consumption, right? So don't mention it anywhere. Just understand that you can say that it is Mahayana plus Tantra is equals to Vajrayana. That means Mahayana has Bodhisattvas, Mahayana has Sanskrit, right? Mahayana has salvation by grace, and similarly, Tantra has magic. Tantra has fierce deities, fierce deities. Right, for example, like Kali Ma. Again, I'm not saying she is related to it, but yes, something you can relate. Right, okay, so with all due respect and disclaimer, and don't take me wrong. Okay, so Bodhisattvas plus Sanskrit plus salvation by grace and magic plus fierce deities, this becomes Vajrayana. So all these characteristics will be here, right? Here we'll have Bodhisattvas, and there is a concept of Tara, right? In Bodhisattvas as well, we have concept of Tara. Tara are fierce deities. Second thing we realize that now there is possibility of salvation by magic. Now this magic and Sanskrit, now we also have like symbols over here. The symbols and Sanskrit together became Sandhya Bhasha. This is called as twilight language, right? And Sanskrit, but a bit different, right? Sandhya Bhasha. So now this is a new school, which is Vajrayana. This was supported by Palas, right? Palas around 8th century, right? Roughly around 8th century we'll have this last jump. I hope you got this, right? Now look at this timeline again. Try consuming this timeline. If you understand this, maybe you don't understand Gupta Empire, maybe you don't understand 3rd century BC Gupta Empire will start. It's okay. Right now, just make this diagram, right? And write this all down. And if you understand this, then you can actually understand the impact of this rise and fall over the Buddhism, right? So things will become, if there is a question which is regarding logic, right, it will become very predictable for you. Yeah. Similarly, this formula, please assimilate. Yeah. And one more thing, yes, thank you. So yeah, so this is highly symbolic language, and this is Sandhya Bhasha. Also now you understand that this is very tough, very complicated. So now you need a guru. So if there is importance of guru in this Buddhism, right? And in Tibet, guru is called as Lama, right? Lama is Tibet translation of guru. Right? So guru will tell you about what all ritual things you need to do, what all things you need to study, how to perform these magic and all. So yeah, he will tell you, and that is the reason the concept of Lama is there. By the way, you can ask this question. Pala period is the most significant phase in the history of Buddhism in India. Enumerate. Right? This is 2020 10 marker. Right? So they have already asked this question. So they do ask on this kind of understanding of philosophy, right? And a philosophy part of the culture will be mostly done in ancient only. So we have covered the Vedic philosophy, we have covered Vedic literature, we have also covered your Buddhism, and next we'll also cover Jainism. The philosophy part we'll cover in this course only, right? In art and culture we'll only talk about application. What is the application of Buddhism in your culture and art? So now in Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana, in both, there is also a concept of Dhyani Buddha. Now they believe, now this is again for MCQs, right? Additional concept. So they believe that there are 5 celestial Buddhas. One is Vairochana, one is Akshobhya, one is Ratnasambhav, one is Amitabha, one is Amogha Siddhi. So we were talking about Amitabha only. Till now we were talking about Amitayush only. But there are in total 5 celestial Buddhas. It is similar to Panchabhut, right? It is similar to, in Hinduism or Brahmanism, you talk about 5 elements, right? Ether, water, fire, air. So they represent these 5 elements. Now similarly, all these 5 Buddhas have one Bodhisattva to accompany them. For example, Vairochana has Samantabhadra, Amogha Siddhi has Vishwapani, Amitabha has Avalokiteshwar, Ratnasambhav has Ratnapani, and Akshobhya has your Vajrapani. Do you need to remember this? No, not today. Right, it's perfectly fine. Just give it a reading. I didn't want to exclude this, so I have included it, but not very important. Let's talk about Bodhisattvas. Now before Bodhisattvas, last concept, Navayana or Neo-Buddhism. Right, Navayana. I understand you are curious about Bodhisattvas, who are Bodhisattvas, but yeah. So Navayana or Neo-Buddhism. Now when B.R. Ambedkar realized, now this is about modern India. B.R. Ambedkar, now when he realized, during our freedom struggle, so he was our social reformer who was working for upliftment of lower caste, right? And his philosophy is basically annihilation of caste. Annihilation. The caste should be annihilated. Right? Annihilation of caste. So that is his basic idea, that the caste system should be annihilated. There should be no caste system. Right? There should be no caste system. But what he has realized, that he hardly got any support for this from Gandhiji or from any other way, and he realized that during his whole struggle, he has not made enough impact. Right? So what should be the next step? Should he expect Hinduism or basically Brahmanism to eventually come out of this caste system and eventually come out of this hierarchy, eventually come out of this oppression, or he realized that this is not happening. Better way than to wait for this to happen is to move to Buddhism. Right? So what he decided that okay, Dalits can become part of Buddhism. So this idea of joining Buddhism so that everybody becomes equal and there is no hierarchy like caste system or the water system, for that to happen, he wanted all the Dalits to join, Buddhism. So he started Neo-Buddhism or Navayana. Now this is Navayana. Right? Purpose of Navayana is only and only social reform. Right? Only to give equal status to the Dalits. Now this is happening in 1956 after we got independence, and he has realized that not much has changed. Now what he should do, he should take everyone or all the Dalits to the fold of Buddhism. Sorry. Now Now, when he has gone through the you can say philosophy of Buddhism, all the concepts, for example, like karma, rebirth, right, anatta, right, he has said that okay, this is not something we need. We only need what? We only need we should get equal status. So he has discarded this, right? He said karma and rebirth, don't worry about all these, do not think about all these. Four noble truth, anatta, he has taken that also from this. So Navayan is not having any core philosophy of Buddhism. Right, it is neither believing into your four noble truths nor into anatta or karma or rebirth, etc. So technically, it is not believing in the philosophy of Buddhism. It is only meant to give, this is only basically this is a vehicle to give Dalits equal status. That's it. There is no philosophy as such. Are you getting a point? So Neo Buddhism, or basically the Buddhism which we had after 1956, it is not about nirvana. It is not about you can say how to lead life or philosophy, etc. But it is about only Dalit having equal status. That is Neo Buddhism or Buddhism of B.R. Ambedkar. Right. Okay. So let's go ahead. Similarly, Chinese gradually they had their own Buddhism. Japanese monks also developed their own Buddhism. Right. They added few elements here and there, and then everybody has their you can say original take on Buddhism. Right. So you need to read this. I've just added it here. So in 2018, UPSC had asked this question with reference to Indian history. Who among the following? Yeah. Who among the following is the future Buddha? Yeah. Now before you answer this, let's go into Bodhisattvas. Right. Bodhisattvas. So now we have realized that there is a belief that other than Buddha, right? There is Buddha. First of all, there is Buddha. Buddha who took birth and gave those teachings. But other than the Buddha we studied, there are celestial Buddhas, like Dhyani Buddhas. Right? Plus, there are people or basically beings similar to Buddha, right? Bodhisattvas, who are let's say suppose I decide to go for nirvana. Right? Basically you can say that I'm also connected to Buddha. Maybe this is my another birth. Right, so I know that I'm going to reach nirvana position, right? Nirvana, but instead of going for nirvana, I'm delaying this, so that meanwhile I can do some welfare, I can teach people, right? So I'm someone who has sattva of Buddha, not exactly Buddha, but I have sattva. Sattva means essence of Buddha, right? This is technically what essence of Buddha. Right, so now like Buddha, we can have belief in Buddha. Other than that, we can have belief in Dhyani Buddhas. We can also have belief in so many other Buddhas or Bodhisattvas similar to Buddha bodies, right? Who have some power. For example, like there are three important Bodhisattvas. They are called as Trinity. Like we have Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Yeah. Okay. Similar to our concept of Trinity in Buddhism, we have Manjushri, we have Avalokiteshwar, and Vajrapani. Vajrapani is somebody who has essence of Buddha, some power of Buddha, right? Some you can say part of Buddha. So these three together represent powers of Buddha. For example, Manjushri represents wisdom of Buddha. Okay, Manjushri. Yeah, so Manjushri. So this is the sculpture of Manjushri. Manjushri, what he represents? He represents wisdom. Right, like we have in Hinduism, we have Saraswati Ma, right? She represents wisdom. Or Brahmaji, who is the creator. Right. So similarly, Manjushri is the Bodhisattva of wisdom. Right? She has a sword over here, which cuts through ignorance. Right? She has a book in her. He has a book in his hand, which is Pranamita Sutra. Pranamita Sutra. This book will help you, ace. So this book will help you excel into 6 perfections. Right? And 6 perfections like charity, piety, right? And wisdom. These kind of things you can find or you can excel or you can ace it by reading this book, Prana Paramita. So she has this Prana Paramita. Also, most of the time you'll find that she is sitting over a lion like this. Yeah, not properly visible, but yes, she sits over a lion or she sits over a lion cloth, which shows that lion is technically ignorance, right? And she has tamed that ignorance. Right? So wisdom. So basically Bodhisattva, Manjushri is a being who has essence of Buddha, who has wisdom of Buddha. Right? So you need to, if you are following Mahayana Buddhism, you will worship Manjushri. Right? Similarly, the second Bodhisattva is Avalokiteshwar. Avalokiteshwar represents compassion of Buddha. Right? He represents compassion. See, he's so you can say the heart is so clean. He has this lotus in his hand, also called Padmapani. Right? Has lotus in his hand, and he is known for compassion, karuna, daya. Right? So he represents compassion of Buddha. Similarly, the third one is Vajrapani. Now Vajrapani represents the anger or fearfulness of Buddha. Right? Vajrapani. So you see that he has this blue body, right? All under fire. Right? Also he's holding a very strong weapon, Vajra, and he's in general blue in color. Right? Similar to Bhagwan Shiv. Right? Bhagwan Shiv is also having Neelkantha. Right? His neck is blue. Right? Known for destruction. So similarly, Vajrapani is also known to have similar characteristics. Right? Very fierce. He has some Vajra weapon or lightning bolt in his hand, generally blue in color. Right? Again, you can compare Avalokiteshwar to Padmapani to Bhagwan Vishnu. Right? He is compassionate one. He's the one who preserves. Right? Preserves the whole universe. So yeah, so he can compare Avalokiteshwar or Jailokeshwar, Padmapani to Bhagwan Vishnu. So this trinity is again similar to what we have. So that's what I was saying then, that the concepts are very similar. Buddhism and Brahmanism. So the later concept of Buddhism brought Buddhism closer to Brahmanism. Are you getting a point? So now if you think about this irony, that initially in this chaotic zone, or where we were developing so many philosophies, we realized that when Buddhism came, right, they wanted to develop alternate philosophy, right? They wanted to develop alternate philosophy to Brahmanism. Are you getting a point? Initially, they were trying to find alternate philosophy. You say that there is soul, Atma. We will say that there is Anatta. You talk about God. We will not talk about God. God agnostic. You talk about, for example, karma marga, right? You talk about gyan marga, personal pursuit. You talk about grace. So initially Buddhism was trying to stay away, or basically creating distance from Brahmanism. But by first century AD, by the first century AD, now this whole philosophy, Brahmanism and Buddhism, this seems to be parallel. Right? That rift has gone. Now it does not sound like some alternate philosophy. Now there are gods of basically multiple bodhisattvas here. They have also Trinity, and they are also having Trinity. They also study Sanskrit. Even they study Sanskrit. Sanskrit is main language for them. So that rift is gone also. I'm sorry. In Gupta period, 3rd century BC, Brahmanism also declared that Buddha is incarnation of Vishnu. Right? So Buddhism was existing or surviving because it provided one alternate path. Right? But all those alternate things got mixed. Why we got back to why we have reached this Gupta era. Right? So by Gupta era, all those distinctions was gone. And even when Buddhism, especially when Brahmanism said that Buddha is the incarnation of Vishnu, right? Then you can understand that nobody will join Brahmanism. I'm sorry, nobody will join Buddhism. Why? Because suppose if I'm Hindu or I'm Brahmanical, if I think of joining Buddhism, people will tell me, "Arey, wo Vishnu ji ke avatar hai. He's actually Vishnu only." Right? So you just worship Vishnu, or you just worship Buddha as Vishnu, or you can also worship Buddha as Vishnu. So you need not join Buddhism. Are you getting what? This was a master stroke. Right? This changed a lot of things. So Buddhism got assimilated into Brahmanism only. Because now Buddha is basically incarnation of Vishnu. Again, by the way, disclaimer is what I'm not saying this is correct. This is what history books tell us. Right? And I don't know whether it is true or not. Right? Maybe he's really incarnation of Vishnu. I'm not sure. I'm not challenging that fact. I'm just saying that history books say so. Right? And the rest you are free to believe. Okay. So yeah, so there are more bodhisattvas coming back. So we discussed 3 most important bodhisattvas: Manjushri, Avlokteshwar, Vajrapani. Other than that, Amitabha is known for somebody who provides infinite light or infinite life, so he provides longevity. Important in both Vajrayana and Mahayana. So bodhisattvas are important in both Vajrayana and Mahayana, both. Yeah, 3 family of protectors we have seen. Let's see a few more. Maitreya. So Maitreya is the bodhisattva who is waiting to come. Right? He's waiting for his time to come and take avatar, basically take birth in this world. So he's waiting to come. So he's our future Buddha. Are you getting the point? So he will get back all the original teachings of Buddha over here. Yeah, so other teachings of Buddha. So yeah, so he's wearing Sikh khat. He wears this khat. This is generally orange color khat. And also his statue you will see. The statue is also like, yeah, he's waiting. Yeah, the time will come. So the statue is also like the Maitreya is waiting. So he's future Buddha, Maitreya. Okay, then so this was the question, right? Which is the future Buddha? So now I think we know, not this one, Maitreya, right? With respect to Indian history, who among the following is the future Buddha yet to come to save the world? That is Maitreya. Okay, then there are more, like Kshitij Garbha, right? Now there are multiple bodhisattvas, so many bodhisattvas. We can't end it, right? Now there are so many bodhisattvas, but few which are important, we'll talk about them. So yeah, so Kshitij Garbha is somebody who takes care of all those who have died and gone to hell. So he takes care of all the hell beings. Just for the sake of reference, like we have Yamaraj and Chitragupta in Brahmanism, similar to them, we have Kshitij Garbha in Buddhism, right? So he takes care of all the hell beings, and he wears very simple clothes, very simple robes like a monk. He has a wand in his hand, plus he has a madi, Chintamani. This is used to open the gates of hell. And also he is generally not wearing anything in leg, or wearing very simple slippers in his leg, and which generally on his legs are being shown, which shows that he's usually walking. He's usually traveling. Second is Akshay Garbha or Akash Garbha. Akash Garbha is the brother of Kshitij Garbha. Right? And see both the brothers. Yeah, hardly anything matches. He is wearing luxurious clothes. He has some halo in his head. While his brother Kshitij Garbha, he's like a monk. Right? So he's known for purifying transgressions. So suppose you made some mistake and you want to repent that, or you want to regret, or basically you want to do pashatap type thing, right? So yeah, so transgression. If you made some mistake, right, he's the one who will take care of that. So he'll be wearing like very ornamental robes, very expensive clothes and all, right? A whole halo around his head. So he has that god-like look, right? Not a monk-like look. Yeah, okay. Then Samanta Bhadra. Bhadra means somebody very good, worthy, Bhadra log, right? So something like that. So Samanta Bhadra is basically who is always worthy. Samanta, always universal worthy. He's so good, right? So Samanta Bhadra, because he is known to have all the good qualities. In general, you will find that he's riding either 3 elephants, or if one elephant, then every elephant should have some 6 tusks. Right, some 6 tusks. So this is something which is found in the sculpture of Samanta Bhadra. The number of tusks you'll find that there are 6 in number. Right, 6 tusks is something which is characteristic. Right, also these 6 tusks represents what? Paramitas. They represent perfection, 6 perfections. Right, perfections like charity, morality, patience, diligence, contemplation, wisdom, all 6. You don't have to mother, but yes, paramitas. Paramitas are technically 6 perfections. Same Prana Paramita we were discussing in your Manjushri. Right, Prana Paramita Sutra, right? So Prana Paramita Sutra, same. Yeah, so these are the important your bodhisattvas, right? And there are so many. So I'm showing you the important one which can be asked. Otherwise, there is no end to it. There are so many. There is one bodhisattva Neo, right? Neo are generally gatekeepers. So if you go to some Buddhist temple, let's say in Indonesia or in Japan, on the gate you'll find 2 protectors which are Neo. Right? Okay, this question. I think this question we have already seen, right? Concept of bodhisattva center. Yes, we have already seen this. So yeah, so we're done with bodhisattvas. Mainly we are done with all the concepts. Right? Let's talk about decline part. Why Buddhism declined? So now you already know the answer. Right? Reason behind decline now you already know. Yeah. So decline, if you see, the major reason behind the decline. Now they are following rituals. So eventually, with the time, now they are into rituals and ceremonies. And is this a reason? Yes, major reason. Right. Second. Now earlier they were using local language like Pali, but now Pali is out of the question. Now they are relying on Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the language of intellectuals. Sanskrit is the language which is not common. People don't know Sanskrit. Right? Commoners don't know Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the language of philosophers, the language of scholars. Right? So if you talk in Sanskrit, now if you start preaching in Sanskrit, everybody will not be able to relate. Right? And this is the issue. Earlier Buddha was using Pali, or basically the local language, and ensuring that everybody understands what he's saying. But now the things have changed. Right? It's not the same now. Yeah, okay, so Pali. So Sanskrit is there. Also, one important thing which happened was corruption. Now what is happening? They are getting so much patronage from the kings, right? From the kings, from the people, right? So much dan dakshina. So now they're getting so much patronage from the people, and because of this, the sangha or the monasteries became the center of wealth. And once you have accumulation of wealth somewhere, it leads to what? It leads to your corrupt behavior. So what happened? Now people are joining Buddhism to get close to this wealth, right? And so now these monasteries eventually will become the center of luxury. Also, not only this, they will also start looking at women with lust. And now you can say, remember the words of Buddha. He said that if we allow women to become part of our sangha, then definitely it will lead to our decline someday. Right? He said that it is not the fault of women. It is not because they don't have the potential. It is not their fault. Right? So something like that he must be thinking, and he must have meant this only. Right? Then this will eventually happen. Right? So yeah. So because of so much patronage, so much money involved, so much land involved, gradually there will be a lot of corruption, a lot of the luxury in the monasteries. All the women will be will be looked with lust, and this is also a major issue. Now after that, there are certain you can say dynasties or kings who are against Buddhism. They will persecute Buddhist monks. Right? They will kill Buddhist monks. So they will actually evade Buddhist monks. Right? For example, like Pushyamitra Sunga. Pushyamitra Sunga. Right? Sasang. So they are like against Buddhism. Why Pushyamitra Sunga is a Brahman, right? He's a Senani or the commander of Mauryan Empire, right? But he's Brahman and he's very much you can say he has that grudge that because of Mauryan Empire, Brahmanism has gone down. Right? He has that grudge, right? Because of Mauryan Empire, Brahmanism has gone down, and that is the reason he killed the last Mauryan emperor and killed the Buddhist monks as well. So major reason behind Buddhist monks running away from the Magad side, that is because of Pushyamitra Sunga. Then there are a lot of Turkish invaders. And now when they come to India, especially in medieval era, they will attack these monasteries. Why? Because these monasteries have money. Right? They will look like fort. They will kill people there. They will attack and loot these monasteries. So all these are major reasons behind the decline of Buddhism. Right? The initial part you already knew. The later part you will see. Right? So yeah, the rituals and ceremonies we have discussed. Also, yeah, again, important thing: reforms in Brahmanism. How can we forget that? Right? So by the time Gupta era, by the time we are into Gupta era, Buddhism will also take a lot of steps to reform itself. Right? For example, one of the major contention was cattle. Brahmanism was into animal sacrifices. So by the time we reach Gupta period, we say no, cattle, you can't kill cattle. We need to preserve cattle. Right? Also, they will also you can say make some relaxation in the way they treat Shudras and women. Right? They make the status better than before. Right? Not ultimate or equal, not equal, but still better than before. Right? And then we have also discussed that Buddha was declared that Vishnu he is the incarnation of Vishnu. Language we have already seen. Then corruption discussed. Then persecution. Yes, Turkish invaders. Okay. So now there's a question: why did Buddhism start declining in India in the early medieval times? So I think we have discussed the whole part in detail. I'm also opening the chats. Yeah. Try answering this question. Read this question very, very carefully. Try answering. Okay, good. Okay, see, you have not studied the Gupta and the medieval part, so I understand, and it's okay to make mistake over here. So yeah, so first statement: Buddha was by that time considered as one of the incarnation of Vishnu and thus became a part of Vaishnavism. Yes, this is correct. We have just discussed. But see the second statement: invading tribes from Central Asia till the time of last Gupta king, right? So till the time of last Gupta king, if you see, right, invading tribes over here, right? They are not adopting Hinduism, or even if they are adopting Hinduism, they are not persecuting Buddhists, right? Or also from Central Asia, even Kanishka came from Central Asia. Right, even Kanishka is from Central Asia and he is adopting Buddhism. So in ancient India, except for Pushyamitra Sunga and Shashank, there is hardly anyone who will kill Buddhist. Right? In fact, there is a lot of religious tolerance in ancient India. Right? So there are only few examples where we find persecution of Buddhists. So this is not medieval, this is before Gupta period, this is still ancient. And ancient India will find that people who come from Central Asia will actually adopt Buddhism. Right? They do councils and all. Right? Similarly, kings of Gupta dynasty were strongly opposed to Buddhism. No, they were not strongly opposed to Buddhism. They supported Brahmanism. Right? These are two different statements. They supported Brahmanism, this is true. They were Bhagavad, they were Vaishnava, right? But they are not opposed to Buddhism. A good king is the king who does not oppose any religion, right? So yeah, the second and third both are wrong. So only first is correct, but it's okay, it's fine. We have not studied it yet, so it's fine. We'll come to Gupta period. We have not studied any king yet, so it's perfectly fine. Yeah, so invading tribes of Central Asia is not only Mihirakul, but it's also other other tribes, right? Like for example, your Chakas, Kushans, right? All of them. Okay, so we have finished the decline. Significance of Buddha now you understand. So we have discussed in detail. Contribution, philosophy, culture, education. So I'm leaving it to you, right? So you need to read this. So now we are done with Buddhism. Questions. Most of the questions we have seen along the concepts. So Swatantrika Samhita question we have done. Bodhisattva we have done. See the third question. Try answering the third question. Okay, so Venkatesha, it's okay if you're a blog. No, don't worry about it. Maybe there is some mistake. It's okay. Let it go. Right? It's over now. And let it go, man. Don't cling to it. Don't have desire to be available everyone. Don't have desire to comment in all the answers or all the classes. It's perfectly fine. Let it go. Yeah, Venkatesha, have big heart, man. It's okay. If you think about what has already happened, you'll waste the time today. Right? Instead, let's focus. No, it's okay. The time has gone. If it was 24 hours, done by mistake, what will happen? PW team might come back and say, sorry, we made a mistake. That's it. Nothing else will happen, right? So it's okay. Let it do. Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of the Buddha? Right. So that's a very good question. The point is, we had discussed that Buddha has never gone to Avanti, and Gandhara is very, very far. Even Avanti is very far. So these two are wrong. 3 and 4 is the right answer. Right? But it's okay. There will be traps like this where we think we are basically confused how to attend this question. So first of all, we must eliminate Gandhara. That Gandhara is not possible. Very, very far. If 2 is out, so 2 is out, and 2 is out, so yeah. So 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are correct, of course, obviously. Magadha and Koshala, no doubt about that. Right? The only contender is Avanti. But now there is 50% chance. Anyway, we need to attend this question. Right? So Avanti is again far. There is no story of Avanti in Buddha's story. So we need to take that call that he has not gone to Avanti. Also, it's far. So yeah. So Avanti, but yes, we can make that mistake. So only 3 and 4 are correct. Yeah. Okay. So we have seen the fourth question as well. What is Nirvana? I don't think we need to see this again. Okay. This question, declining already seen, Maitri already seen. Question number 7, you see. The painting of Bodhisattva Padmapani is one of the most famous and oft illustrated paintings. But I've not taught painting yet. But if you have seen this, if you have read NCRT, cultural NCRT, there you can find this. So let it go for now. But answer is A, right? Ajanta. See question number 8. Can you answer this one? This we have discussed. Question number 8. Though I have not shown you the caves because I'll show you the caves. When we are in that time era, when we are learning Satvahanas, I'll show you the caves. What is Chaitya? How it looks like? What is Vihara? How it looks like? But today, can you comment? Can you let me know what is the answer of the 8th one? Yeah. Chaitya is a place of worship, by Vihara is the dwelling place of the monk. Yeah, we saw that, right? So yeah, okay, great. Okay, let's move forward. So question number 9. Now 9 is again, this is about monasteries, right? Location of monasteries. So again, we have not studied monasteries yet. I will teach this concept in education, in art and culture, right? But I've added it here so that you understand that Buddhism, some or the other way, UPSC finds a way to ask. Right? Somehow they will ask something, whether it is from the philosophy or concept or architecture. Yeah, so they find something, right? So yeah, so let's not go into 9 right now. It will not make sense. Let's see 10th question. Bhumi Sparshamada, Mara Vijay. Question number 10th. So we had seen this question, but I think we didn't solve it. So let's solve it now. Mara Vijay. It's a very good question. See. Okay. Let's give more time to it. Read the statement very, very carefully. The statement itself is saying that I'm not correct. I'm not correct. Okay, so let's discuss. Question part A. Buddha's calling of the earth to watch over Mara and to prevent Mara from disturbing his meditation. Don't you think that it sounds like that Buddha is calling Mama please dekh lo, kaise kar raha hai, right? Ye disturb kar raha hai mujhe. Don't you think the A option sounds like that? Buddha's calling of the earth to watch over Mara. See earth, mother god earth. See Mara, what he's doing. He's preventing me. Right? He's not letting me meditate. Do you think this should be the statement of Buddha? Those who mark it. Yeah? Can this be the statement of Buddha? Buddha's calling of the earth to watch over Mara. यहाँ देखो मुझे डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है मम्मी मुझे पढ़ने नहीं दे रहा नहीं यार it's not possible. It's not possible to have that kind of statement from Buddha. So Buddha's of calling of the earth to witness his purity and chastity despite the temptations of Mara. Right? That makes sense. So B makes sense. So yeah. Okay. So again, this is good question. Again, this is from literature and scholars. Literature. So now that's what I was saying when we were studying Indian philosophy. We were studying the orthodox philosophy, Sankhya, Yoga. That UPSC now is going into this genre. This is 2022. Right? Are they connected to whom? Whether he's a Jain scholar or not, Dignaga, whether Buddhist scholar or not, Nath Muni, whether Vaishnava or not. They're asking this kind of question. Right? That means at least we should be able to recognize. Again, see 2022 same year. Neti Pakarna, Vashishta Parvan, Avadana Shataka. We already done this question. But Trishasti Lakshana, Mahapurana, which are Jain texts. We're not solving it now because we're not studying literature. But my point is that yes, literature is important. Are you getting the point? Literature is important. Right? They will ask via scholars, via books. Right? So this is important. Very important genre. Okay. With respect to the cultural history of India, see 13th question. 13th question. Anno Domini means era of Jesus Christ, era of Lord Christ. It is still on, right? This is still era of Lord Christ. So we still call it future. Also we call it AD. Question number 13. Can we do this? Option number D is all 1, 2, 3. Not visible over here. D is 1, 2, 3. Now UPSC will ask such kind of meanings as well, right? So yeah. Okay. So mark anything. Okay. Now check. Parivrajika जो है okay, renunciant wanderer, maybe. Shamana, priest with high status. Upasak is lay follower. Lay follower seems okay, right? Lay follower is Upasak. Lay follower is common follower. Maybe. Let's wait. Shamana. What is Shamana? Shamana, at least we can tell, right? Shamana is a truth seeker, right? Who has left everything and is seeking truth. And he is not a priest with high status. And if he is not a priest with high status, then B is correct. B is wrong. Second is wrong. So second is wrong. Second is wrong. And then 1 and 3 are correct. So Parivrajika is technically the one who has left his home, is wanderer, renunciant, is Parivrajika. So technically Shamana and Parivrajika are close. But Parivrajika is more like a monk, a serious monk, right? Senior monk, who is like serious follower of a sect. Then the person is called as Parivrajika. Right? Upasak is the lay follower, basic follower. Everybody today, if I go to a temple and say, I meditate for 5 minutes, I became Upasak. And not literally, but yeah, I kind of become a lay follower. I come to temple and I meditate. Sometimes I go and sometimes I don't. Something like that. So Upasak is basic. But Parivrajaka is a senior follower, right? Senior person who is like a serious monk, who has left his home and became a wanderer. He has left everything. And is a serious monk, then that monk is Parivrajaka. It was there in the content, but I have not discussed that. I missed the discussion. It was there where we were discussing Ashtangika Marg. So those who had read the PPT, they know that it was there in Ashtangika Marg. But my point is, even if you don't know 100%, even if you have 70% of the knowledge, even then many times you can answer. Right? You can answer like 80% of the questions, more than 80%. Okay, again, this is the fourth is they have used this word Shamana and Parivrajika again, but it has nothing to do with Buddhism. right? It has nothing to do with Buddhism, so we can skip here. But 14th answer is Magadha, not of course not Shamnan, of course not Parivrajika. Okay, question number 15. I was talking about this question. See, question number 15. Yeah, answer. Done. Nice, very good, very good. Okay, so Thavirvadins belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Really? Thavir, Thera, Mahayana? No. So one is wrong, one is out, three is automatically correct. Amazing. Second, now it is on Lokattarvadin, right? That is the reason I said, you need to at least recognize that these schools are there, right? So Lokattarvadin, second was an offshoot of Mahasangika sector Buddhism. At least recognize. Yeah, this is correct. But even before understanding this, we know it's 50% chances, so we can't leave this question. So yeah. Yeah, so this is also correct. So 2 and 3, the option is correct. Most of you marked right. Great, amazing. Okay, so we are done with Buddhism now. So in culture, we'll see more questions. In culture, we'll find that a lot of questions are asked from the in your mains examination from Buddhism, right? So they have asked recently. They have asked about the significance of lion and bull, right? Are the Buddhist two part by depicting the folk motifs? Already seen this question. Pala period is the most significant. Highlight the Central Asian and Greco-Bactrian elements in the Gandhara art. Gandhara is culture owed as much to the Romans as to the Greeks, right? So when we study architecture or sculptures or basically culture, right, there we'll learn what it actually means, right? Not today. Okay, so let's go into Jainism now. Let's start Jainism, right? Jainism, Mahavir and Tirthankaras. Yeah, all aligned. Everyone, Prithvi, where is Cap today? Kanchan, Ragini, Ajanta cave was made by Ashoka? No. Gupta period is AD. Okay, but it's okay. Okay, so now focus. Yeah, so Mahavir and Tirthankaras. Now again, same concept. Same, it's like deja vu, right? It's exactly same. So now in the same era of that chaos, where so many philosophers, so many scholars were actually bringing new philosophies, alternate philosophies, there was a scholar, Vardhaman Mahavir, who started Jainism, right? And also he is contemporary to Buddha, right? He is contemporary to Buddha. Now your question is whether they met, right? Whether Buddha and Vardhaman Mahavir met. So no, it's not necessary. No, there are two scholars or two basically head of different philosophies, right? They might not meet each other, right? For example, somebody who you believe that is head of Hinduism today, is it necessary that he will go meet head of Islam today? Right? No, it's not necessary. No, you feel excited that they should have met. No, they are contemporary. No, it's not the case. Right? Even if they are contemporary, it does not mean they will meet. Anyway, so Vardhaman Mahavir came with a new concept, obviously a different concept, which is Jainism. Now Jainism. So let's talk about Jainism. So what Mahavir says that I'm not the first Tirthankara. He uses this word Tirthankara. I'm not the first Tirthankara. There are 23 Tirthankaras before me. 23 Tirthankaras. I'm the 24th one. 24th Tirthankara. Now this adds disclaimer is on. I don't have to say it every time, but yeah, disclaimer is on. See, historians also believe that we can say that the concept of 23 Tirthankara might have been added to add antiquity. Right, might have been added to add antiquity. No, but mostly we believe that this is true, right? But a counter argument is that sometimes when we say that this is very, very old, right? And somebody says that this is here from 1826, you believe it, right? If it is here from 1826, it must be correct, and it must be very good. That is the reason it has survived. So that might have been one of the reasons that to add antiquity, the concept of 23 Tirthankaras were added. But we are not contradicting anything, right? So we believe that there are 23 Tirthankaras before Vardhaman Mahavir. So in total there are 24 Tirthankaras, right? Starting from the first Tirthankara, Rishabhanath, right? So there are 24 Tirthankaras in total. Do we need to mug up everyone? No. So every Tirthankara has a symbol, every Tirthankara has a place and color. Of course, color is not at all important. Eliminate color now itself, right? Only thing you can focus on is symbol and birthplace. That's it. Also, do we need to read all? No. First two, because they are first two, Rishabhanath and Ajitnath. Then 19, because 19 there is a debate whether he is a Tirthankara or she is a Tirthankara. Whether 19 is male or female, there is a debate. So we must see Mallinatha. The first one is Rishabhanatha, Adinath. Adi means the first one, right? His symbol is bull. And see, he's from Ayodhya. So Ayodhya is important for Jain as well, right? And as well as Brahmanism. Second one is Ajitnatha, symbol is elephant, again from Ayodhya, right? Then 19th one, Mallinatha, symbol is Kalash, and he's from Mithila. Then 23rd Parshanath, symbol is snake, he's from Kashi, right? Banaras, Kashi. Right, then 24th Vardhaman Mahavir, lion, and his place is Kshatriya Kund, or we'll see, and so Mahavir. So 24th is Mahavir. Now 23 is important because he's 23. Now the question arises, why 23? Why I'm studying about 23? 23 Parshanath is the immediate guru. Not exactly, he has not seen Parshanath. That's not like he's Guru Shishya, but he is the follower of, you can say, Parshanath. So Mahavir is the follower of Parshanath, and that is the reason Parshanath is important. Right, Tirthankar Parshanath is important. Other than that, Tirthankar Muni Shuvrata, he is also important now. The reason he was in news recently. So his symbol is tortoise, and he is from Kushagra Nagar. Okay, again, it's not necessary to mug up everything. At least go through it all. At least at least if you have seen it once, you'll be able to recognize. Right, so that is the whole intent over it. So let's talk about Rishabhanatha. So Rishabhanath is first Tirthankar, right? So he's also called as Adinath. He's also called as Rishabha, and most importantly, he's also considered mythologically. He's also considered as the founder of Ishwaku dynasty. Same dynasty to whom Bhagwan Ram belongs. So there seems to be some connection as well, right? So Ishwaku Vansh, father of Ishwaku dynasty, founder of Ishwaku dynasty. So somewhere this is connected to Brahmanism as well, right? And that is the reason that his name is also there in Rig Veda. Are you getting what? So Rishabhnath is mentioned in Rig Veda. So basically Rishabhnath and Arishthanemi, two Tirthankars are mentioned in Rig Veda. Now this means that if Rishabhnath is mentioned in Rig Veda, so technically Jainism or basically the Jain philosophy is basically older than Hinduism. Again, it's a claim, it's a debate, right? I'm not saying whether it's true or not, but right now it is also being debated that if Rishabhnath's name is there in Rig Veda, so that means that this religion or this concept or this philosophy is older than the Brahminical philosophy, right? Okay, let's go ahead. So now, the first Tirthankar Rishabhnatha, right? Rishabhnatha. So yeah, so he's the founder of basically the first Tirthankar, so founder of Jainism as well. Place Ayodhya, right? So now all these things are in sync as well. The place is Ayodhya, Ishwaku Vansh, Bhagwan Ram, all these things actually speak to each other. It's not like something is out of place over here. So so he has attained moksha on Mount Ashtapada, Mount Ashtapada. This is in Kailash range. So Mount Ashtapada is important place of worship for the Jainas. Right? Generally, you will find him sitting in lotus posture, Padmasana, or Kayot Sarga posture. Now, what is Kayot Sarga posture? Kayot Sarga. Kayot Sarga. I'm waiting for this question. UPSC should ask Kayot Sarga. Right? Because this is like very common thing. Kayot Sarga. You must have seen a lot of statues where the monk is standing, right? Standing like this. Right? You know, Gomateshwar Maharaj statue. So when he was standing and meditating, right? Standing and meditating is Kayot Sarga. So this is like extreme form of the meditation where you are standing, you have given up on your body, right? You don't care about your body anymore, you don't care about the pain and all. Now you're standing and meditating, not sitting and relaxing and meditating. No, it's not sitting and meditating, but standing and meditating is called Kayot Sarga. I'll show you some photos as well, but yeah, you must understand Kayot Sarga is standing and meditating, right? Meditating while standing. So Kayot Sarga is a very common position in Jainism, right? Okay, so symbol is bull. Now if you remember, UPSC had asked, well, let's get back. Discuss the significance. Question 2022. Discuss the significance of the lion and bull figures in Indian mythology, art and architecture. Lion and bull. So if you realize, bull we saw in Jainism, bull we find in your here as well, Jainism as well, right? So bull is there in Buddhism, bull is there in Jainism, and is bull there in Hinduism? Yeah, we see that Shivji has Nandi, right? So Shivji also has bull. So bull is a symbol, or bull is a religious symbol in almost all the religions, in all the three religions, right? Yeah. So Rishabh, by the way, Rishabh also means bull. The name itself is bull, Rishabh. Okay, now he's also mentioned in Vishnu Puran and Bhagavad Puran and called Rishabh is the incarnation. So Bhagwan Rishabh is the incarnation of Vishnu. Yeah. Understood? So Bhagwan Rishabh is basically the incarnation of Vishnu as well. Okay, so first Tirthankara Rishabhnatha, then we'll talk about 23rd Tirthankara, Lion and Bull we are discussing here. 23rd Tirthankara Parshvanath, right? Parshvanath. So Parshvanath is basically son of Ashwasena and Vama. Ashwasena is king of Kashi, right? And his son is Parshvanath, and he was married to Prabhavati, and then he left his home, wandered, right? Okay, let's see Parshvanath. The father is Ashwasena, king of Kashi. Mother is Vama, right? Wife Prabhavati. 30 years he had left his home. Ascetic, he became ascetic in 30 years, right? When he was 30 years old. And then after 83 days, right? After 83 days of meditation on Samet Hills, Jharkhand, right? He became Tirthankara. Is this a similar story? What we have? Is this story similar to story of Buddha? Right? A royal prince, right? Royal prince left his home. Buddha, royal prince, or basically a prince who had left his home when he was 29 years old. And then after some 49 days of meditation, he got nirvana. Right? Sounds familiar? Everyone? Yeah? Come back. Okay, this one. Rishabdev, again founder of Ishwaku dynasty. Again, that means he's also Kshatriya. He's also a king or a prince. He's a founder of Ishwaku dynasty. Are you getting the point? And he also attained moksha on Mount Ashtapada. Again, we don't have much story, but again, we have 24th Tirthankara as well. I'll come back to this. 24th Tirthankara, let's complete the discussion. Right? Now, his symbol is lion. Vardhaman Mahavir. See. Now, if you see Vardhaman Mahavir, royal family, right? Wife Yashoda, daughter Priya, ascetic in 30 years. And then 42 years, at the age of 42 years, and he meditated, and then he got nirvana. Obviously, Kaivalya. They will use different word for nirvana. Right? Technically, Kaivalya. Also, nirvana and Kaivalya are different, right? So, I'll tell you. But the point is that stories are similar, and mostly they are Kshatriya. So now is that discussion which we had about Kshatriya reaction, about Kshatriya finding some alternate theory or alternate philosophy, different from, alternate to Buddhism, alternate to Brahmanism. I think now it makes sense. Right? There were Tirthankaras and all are having similar stories. Okay, coming back. So we're talking about Parshvanath. Right, so Parshvanath. So now his followers, his other name is Kushadriya. So now these facts I'm assuming you will see. Nothing to explain over here. Right, his symbol is snake. Everybody has symbol. So let's talk about 24th Tirthankara, but yeah. So this was the news recently. Samet Shikharji. So Samet Shikharji is the news, and then we have in news Shatrunjaya Hills, Gujarat, Palitana Hills, Gujarat. Shatrunjaya Hills, Palitana, Gujarat. Now he is connected with 20th Tirthankara. So recently government has declared this as tourist spot. Same happened over here that in Jharkhand there is Samet Shikharji, right? Samet Shikharji. So Parshvanath got his enlightenment, or basically he reached Kaivalya stage at this place. Now it was basically given this it was declared as tourist spot by Jharkhand government. Now then the Jain community has protested against it, and they said no, this is wrong. And recently then after that the central government put that stake, we should not do this. So yeah, both of them are in news, and maybe they can be asked in the question. Yeah, so Samet Shikharji, Ashtapad, Girnar, Dilwara temple, right? All these are important. Right, Shatrunjaya, we're talking about Shatrunjaya, right? So all these are important. They are basically Shwetambar Panchatirtha. Shwetambar Panchatirtha. Who are Shwetambar? We'll get to know. Yeah, so it was in news, so just keep an eye on this, right? At least special focus on Parshvanath and Tirthankar number 20. Okay, so let's talk about Vardhaman Mahavir, who says that there are 23 Tirthankara before him. So Vardhaman Mahavir. So let's talk about his family first. So now, Vardhaman Mahavir is basically son of Siddhartha. Right, Siddharth. So Siddharth is technically, there is a Kshatriya clan, Natrikas. Natrikas are also republic, same as Shakyas, and he is an elected chief. Right? They are at Vaishali. So there are 8 clans at Vaishali. One of the clan is Natrikas. Right? So Natrikas. So now to Siddhartha. Siddhartha was married to Trishala. Right? Trishala. Now their son is Mahavir, Vardhaman. Now then Vardhaman was married to Yashoda. Wife of Buddha was Yashodhara. Right? Now similar, right? Yashoda. Son of Buddha was Rahul. And daughter of Vardhaman is Priya. Ananya Priya. So Ananya Priya. Right? Ananya Priya Darshini. So this is the family of Vardhaman Mahavir. Right? Now there is one more catch over here. Trishala is actually Trishala. So first of all, have a look at this family. Siddhartha is the elected chief of Natrikas. Then his son Vardhaman, married to Yashoda. They have a daughter Ananya Priyadarshini. Right? Stories of course, Vardhaman Mahavir. Now before we get on the story, Trishala, let's understand few things about Trishala. Trishala is Licchavi prince. Licchavi princess. Right? Do we have a map here? Just a second. We must be having a map. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is Vaishali. This is the state is Vraji, but the capital is Vaishali. Vaishali has 8 clans. One of the clan is Natrika, clan of Vardhaman Mahavir. Another clan, which is the strongest clan, is Licchavi. So Licchavis are the strongest, and the chief of Licchavi is Chetak. Understood? Right? I know. So the Natrikas had Vardhaman Mahavir, but the strongest clan of Vaishali is Licchavi. It's Licchavi, and the head of Licchavi is Chetak. Right? Now let's come back. So Trishala is technically sister of Chetak. Understood? Right? So she is a Licchavi princess, and she is sister of Chetak. Why are we discussing this? Because Chetak has a daughter. Her name is Chillana. Right? Chillana. So she used to Chillana, right? So Chillana. So her name is Chillana, right? And she was Chillana because she was married to Bimbisara. Do we understand Bimbisara? Do we know Bimbisara? Bimbisara. Let's see. Okay. Magad, king of Magad is Bimbisara. His son was Ajatashatru. Remember? The same person who had met Buddha. The same person we were discussing who said that you can have my kingdom, no issues. Right? The same person, yeah? So yeah, so we see that Bimbisara. So technically Bimbisara is Jijaji, brother-in-law of Vardhaman. What are we trying to do? We are trying to establish this royal connection. We are trying to establish this patronage. Why? The two religions which have grown or which are like most popular, right, are the ones who had either influence of Bimbisara or the connection with Bimbisara. Right? Bimbisara, because Bimbisara is the king of Magad. Right? He's very powerful. Yeah. So I'm not saying that the patronage is the only thing, but we understand that patronage is important. Right? And if the king supports a religion, and yes, it is important. Now you can say that how is it possible that he's supporting Buddhism? How it is like that he's also supporting Jainism? Yes, he will. Right? He will. It's okay. You can support two religions. No, you can provide patronage to two people. So it is not the case. Of course, he's very close to Buddha. No doubt about that. Whatever we understand from the stories, he's much closer to Buddha. Or basically, Buddhism claims that Bimbisara is very close to Buddhism. Every religion tries to put this forward that tries to claim that the king is totally towards him. King is in full support of that particular religion. Every religion tries to claim that. Or what they try to do, they put their person as a king, so that that king is towards or inclined towards that religion. That's the whole power game anyway. But here you must understand that there is a royal connection. There is a connection. Yeah. So getting back to the story, so Vardhaman. So you understand this part. So now again at the age of 30, became ascetic. Right? He became ascetic. Now we'll use a new sheet. Yeah. So at the age of 30, he had left his home. He became ascetic, and he wandered till 42 years of age. Right, for 12 years. Here he was accompanied by one more scholar, Makali Goshala. Right, one more scholar, Makali Goshala, who is technically founder of Ajivika sect. Yeah, so you realize that there are a lot of scholars, a lot of pupils wandering together, right, having debate, having that discussion, learning together. Right, we also saw Buddha learning with the other pupils. Right, so similarly he had Makali Goshala with him, who had founded Ajivika later on. Okay, also, so he kept on wandering, he kept on looking for truth. Right, he behaved as a Shramana, seeking truth. And somewhere before Nirvana, before Kaivalya technically, he had even left clothes. Right. So technically, he is the first, Tirthankar who has given up, clothes as well. Right. He's the person who gave this philosophy that even you need to discard clothes. Right. And so discard clothes. So if you discard clothes, you actually come out of everything, every kind of desire and all. So discarded clothes as well, altogether. And then one fine day, when he was 42 years of age, he got at there's a place, Jrimbhika Gram. There he found omniscience. There he found. So he was also sitting near a river. River name is Rijupalika. Right, Rijupalika. And then he got Kaivalya. At 42 years of age, he got Cavalya. Cavalya. Is Cavalya different from Nirvana? I'll let you know how it is different. But yes, it is different from Nirvana. And now, after getting Cavalya, he also started traveling and teaching. And he did this, traveling and teaching. He's 72 years of age. So he left around 468 BC. 468 BC. This is at Pavapuri. Pavapuri. Maybe you can just make this timeline and you're done. Right, Pavapuri. And there he became this position of basically this new attainment is called as he became Siddha. Right, that's the position. When you reach that ultimate position, it is called Siddha. I'll tell you all the positions. There are 14 positions, I'll tell you about that. But there he became Siddha. Yeah? Okay, so now, meanwhile, he has gone to Koshala, Magadha, right, then Mithila, Champa, etc. Yeah, so this has been the life of Varman Mahavir. Right, we don't have that much story like Buddha, but yes. So this is the parallel life of basically similar life, same as what we had in Buddha's time. Right? So yeah. So Jambika Gram is basically close to Patna. Rajapalika is now called as Barakar River, and now he got omniscience. Omniscience is technically Cavalya. Right, now here what he becomes, now he becomes Mahavir. Till this point he was Vardhaman, but now he has won over all his senses. Right, so now he has won over all his indris. Right, so now he became like Jinn or Jitendra. Right, somebody who has conquered all his indri. Right, he became Jitendra, he became Jain, he became Jinna. So he became Jinna. Right, and the follower of Jinn will be Jain. Right, he can also be called as Arahant. Right, somebody who has destroyed his inner enemy. Nirgrantha, no bonding, no bonds. Right, who has got Cavalya can be called as Cavalin. There are so many names, all names signifying the same thing. Right, now he has got Cavalya. Right, the new knowledge. Okay, so now he had got to Rajgir. Right, you can also write this. Rajgir is the point where he gave his first sermon. Maybe add it on the timeline only. So first sermon at Rajgir, this thing, Magad. Rajgir. Okay, let's go ahead. The tree is also sal tree. There we had people tree. Here we had sal tree. Right, same setup, similar setup, right? Nothing different. Okay, so now you have first sermon you have seen. So by the way, let's add one more member to his family. Ananja Priyadarshini was married to Jamali. Right, and Jamali will become follower of Jainism, Vardhaman Mahavir. Right, so his son-in-law is Jamali. His brother-in-law is Bimbisara. Okay, so his followers are Chetak that is Chavi prince, right? Then Champa ruler Dadhivahan, Chandana, then Bimbisara, Ajatshatu, they are also following Jainism. Then there are other kings like Udayan from Kaushambi, Chandrapadyot from Avanti. Right, so yeah, so once we study Mahajanpada, you'll get to know Chandrapadyot, you'll get to know Udayan, right, and also Prasanjit and all. Right, Chandana. Okay, so Mahavir were contemporary, but yes, okay, we'll see the philosophy. So let's talk about Jain philosophy. Let us conclude the whole part once again, right? Again, quick conclusion, quick summary. So what we realized that Vardhaman Mahavir is the person who brought forward, who came back with the philosophy of Jainism. Same point where Buddha was there, right? They both are actually contemporary, right? Okay, so the antiquity thing, it could be for antiquity, but anyway, we have like 23 Tirthankaras before Vardhaman Mahavir, right? Those 24 Tirthankara we had seen. It's not important to mug up everyone, but yes, first, second, 1920, 23, 24, these 6 are right now important for us. So Rishabhnath, we saw that yes, he's the founder of the Shvaku dynasty. Also seems to be connected with Brahmanism. Also mentioned in your Rig Veda, right? Signified by bull. He found his Cavalya at Mount Ashtapada. Then 23rd Tirthankara Parshnath, right? Similar story. He is from Kashi, Banaras, right? Similar, your royal family. Father is king, right? Mother is again from some royal family. He's also married, 30 years of age. He left his house, found in Nirvana, and some other facts. Similarly, 24th Tirthankara. So Vardhaman Mahavir, symbol is lion. See again, that UPSC question, lion, right? So now the childhood name is actually Vardhan, born around 540 BC. We found that again, same story. Somewhere in Vaishali, he has taken his birth. Then his father is a king. Mother connected with Chetak family. Let's use this. So Siddhartha is Trishala, son is Vardhaman, married to Yashoda, daughter is Ananda Priyadarshini, son-in-law is Jamali. That Trishala is connected to Chetak as well. Thus via Chetak, Bimbisara and Vardhaman, they both are brother-in-laws. Right, so that royal connection also we had established. Then the story, at the age of 30 he left his home, he wandered and discarded clothes also. At the age of 42 he, close to Patna at Jambika Gram, he found Cavalya. Right, then he gave first sermon at Rajgir. Traveling and teaching, converted so many to Jainism, basically there were so many followers, Koshala, Magad, Mithila, Champa, all the places he had visited. Finally at the age of 72 he became Siddha. Right, similar story, different names, right, maybe the language is different or maybe the technical term is different, but same story for both Buddha and Mahavira. Right, okay, so now we have seen this. So now let's talk about philosophy of Jainism. We still have time, right? Yeah. For philosophy is a big topic, let's start tomorrow. So we have seen this much. So yeah, okay. So you realize, chat is on. So you realize that both the religions, or basically all these the philosophers, they're mostly Kshatriya, right? They're mostly Kshatriya, coming from a royal family, right? And then deciding to go for research, then deciding to seek truth, right? See, we can conclude Jain philosophy if I have like if you give me 40 minutes today, we can conclude. You have to go for a fair at such a night at this time. Yeah, karma too. The philosophy of basically karma is super important in general. Very important. Ajivika is another sect. Yeah, these are supported both. No, we don't have to study all the Tirthankaras. No, that is not important. Right? We only need to study important ones. And only those 6 are important right now. You can only go through those 6. Okay. 7th Tirthankara symbol. Why are you worried about 7th Tirthankara symbol? What happened? Symbol of the 7th Tirthankara is swastika. Okay. Swastika is a very old symbol. We don't I'll tell you the meaning of swastik. Don't worry. It's not like it's the very first time that we see swastik. Yeah, the swastik is a symbol we have seen in Indus Valley civilization also. Right, but what is the meaning of swastik here? Right, let the time down. I'll tell you. Right, tomorrow in philosophy discussion, I'll tell you the swastik meaning of swastik. Yeah, it's there in philosophy. Don't worry. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So let's continue tomorrow. Yeah, I want to, but it's okay because this will take some time. I don't want to rush it. Right, establishing philosophy takes some time. Right, one part I can conclude, but anyway, this part I can conclude, but anyway, it will not be complete. So let's conclude tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll end Jainism. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care. Good night. And do study. We have completed Jainism, Buddhism. So do study Buddhism once. Okay, bye. Take care. Good night.